Hello, and welcome back. Whether you are starting your morning with a cup of coffee or winding down after a long day, I am glad you are here. Wisdom has no age, and your presence is a gift. Have you ever felt that your patience is wearing thin, or that your efforts to keep the peace at home are simply overlooked? It is easy to feel that we must react to every frustration immediately. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself that the best way to avenge yourself is to not be like the person who caused the injury. Imagine a moment when a family member is unkind. Instead of a sharp reply, you find a small, quiet space to breathe before you speak. This is what we call the 3-second fortress. In this video, we will explore this principle and a simple daily practice to help you stay grounded. I invite you to listen through to the end so we can walk through this journey together. If you are ready to begin, please type in the comments. I control my response. I control my response. The first core pillar we must explore together is the principle of the mental threshold. The Stoics called this Prohairesis. It is a beautiful and quiet concept. They taught that between everything that happens to you and every action you take, there is a tiny, invisible gap. Imagine this gap as a small, peaceful room inside your mind. In this room, you are the only occupant. Nothing from the outside world can enter this room unless you allow it. This is where your true dignity lives. It is the space where you decide who you are. To the Stoics, this was the only thing a human being truly owns. Your health may fail, your wealth may fade, and your loved ones may move away, but this power to choose your inner reaction remains yours until your very last breath. It is the foundation of a steady life. In our modern world, protecting this gap has become incredibly difficult. We live in a culture of instant noise. Our phones chime with messages that demand an answer right now. The news tells us to be angry right now. Even in our own homes, we feel a strange pressure to defend our honor or explain ourselves the moment we feel slighted. We have been conditioned to believe that a quick response is a sign of strength. We worry that if we stay silent for a moment, we are being weak or letting people walk over us. This constant state of readiness keeps our hearts beating too fast and our minds feeling cluttered. We react to life as if we are being pushed by the wind, rather than being the rock that stands firm against the waves. Let us look at a quiet, modern illustration of this struggle. This is a fictional example, but it may feel very familiar to you. Imagine a woman named Martha. She is 65 years old and has spent her life caring for her family. One afternoon, she receives a text message from her adult son. It is short and sounds quite cold. He says he is too busy to come for dinner this Sunday. Martha feels a sudden heat in her chest. She feels a wave of loneliness and a sense that her efforts are not respected. Her old habit is to type back a sharp, hurt reply. She wants to remind him of all the Sundays she spent cooking for him. Her thumb hovers over the screen. In that split second, Martha is standing at the edge of her fortress. She feels the urge to react, but she also feels a small, quiet pull to wait. This is the moment of truth that Marcus Aurelius spoke about in his private journals. Marcus was the most powerful man in the world. Yet he faced people who were ungrateful and deceptive every single day. He wrote to himself, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." He did not say you have power over your son's text messages. He did not say you have power over how people treat you. He focused entirely on the internal power. Marcus realized that the text message was just ink on a screen. The pain does not come from the message itself. The pain comes from the story we tell ourselves about the message. When we choose to pause, we stop the story before it becomes a fire. We reclaim our throne. You can apply this principle whenever you feel a surge of overthinking or when you feel betrayed by someone you trusted. In those moments, remind yourself that their actions are theirs, but your peace is yours. This is especially helpful during difficult family conversations or when you are dealing with the frustrations of daily chores. It turns a stressful moment into a training ground for your character. To begin building your own 3-second fortress, I want you to try a practice called the wait to send rule. This is step number 1. The next time you receive a message or hear a comment that makes your heart race, you must commit to waiting 5 full minutes before you speak or type. Look at a clock and watch the minutes pass. During these 5 minutes, do not plan your defense. Instead, ask yourself 2 simple questions. First, is my ego talking, or is my character talking? Second, will a sharp response make me the person I want to be tomorrow morning? Most of the time, after 5 minutes of quiet breathing, the urge to strike back will fade. You will find that you can speak with kindness or simply choose to stay silent. Silence is often the loudest form of strength. This practice takes time to master. Do not be discouraged if you fail at first. The goal is not to be perfect, but to be aware. Every time you catch yourself before you react, you are adding a stone to your fortress. You are proving to yourself that you are not a puppet of your emotions. You are a person of dignity and choice. If this principle resonates with your heart today, please type in the comments, I control my response. I control my response. Doing this helps to anchor the thought in your mind. Remember, your peace is not something the world gives you. It is something you protect within yourself. Be patient with yourself as you learn to stand in the gap. You are building something that will last a lifetime. The second area where we must apply our inner fortress is within the complex and often painful world of our personal relationships. Many of you have shared stories in our community about the deep ache of family members who have moved away, or the sting of being betrayed by a friend you trusted for decades. These are not small matters. They touch the very core of who we are. When someone we love lets us down, it feels like a piece of our own heart has been stolen. We often spend our nights overthinking every word said and every action taken, wondering where we went wrong. This cycle of regret and resentment is one of the heaviest burdens a person can carry, especially in our later years when we value connection and legacy so deeply. The Stoic teacher Epictetus offered a radical and healing way to look at these losses. He taught that we should view our relationships not as things we own, but as things we have been allowed to borrow for a time. He believed that everything in our lives, from our property to our very children, is a loan from the universe. This perspective is not meant to make us cold or distant. Instead, it is meant to help us love more fully while we have the chance, and to let go with dignity when the time comes. To a Stoic, there is a profound peace in realizing that we never truly possessed the people in our lives. We were simply their companions for a season of the journey. When a season ends, we do not have to break. We simply return what was borrowed. In our modern world, this is incredibly difficult to practice. We are told by society that we deserve constant loyalty and that our happiness depends on how others treat us. We see images of perfect, smiling families on social media, and we compare our own complicated lives to those filtered pictures. When a child stops calling, or a partner of 30 years leaves, we feel a sense of failure. We feel that we have lost a part of our identity. We live in a culture that encourages us to hold on tightly and to feel victimized when things change. This makes the pain of betrayal or loneliness feel like a permanent stain on our lives. Rather than a natural part of the human experience, let us look at a modern situation that many of you may recognize. This is a fictional illustration to help us see the principle in action. Imagine a man named Robert. Robert is 70 years old. He is at a small family gathering for a holiday. During the meal, a relative who has always been a bit unkind brings up a mistake Robert made many years ago. Perhaps a business failure or a difficult divorce. The table goes quiet. Robert feels the old sting of shame rising in his throat. He feels the urge to defend himself, to get angry, or to leave the room. He feels as though that mistake from 20 years ago defines him in this moment. The betrayal of his privacy and the lack of respect from his family member feel like a heavy weight pressing down on his chest. This is where the Stoic analysis becomes our greatest strength. The Stoic would tell Robert that the past is what they called an indifferent. It is something that has already happened and is now completely outside of his control. He cannot reach back in time and change that event. He also cannot control the tongue of his unkind relative. What Robert does own, however, is his character in this very moment. Epictetus was very clear on this point. He wrote, "Never say of anything, 'I have lost it,' but 'I have returned it.' Is your child dead? It is returned. Is your wife dead? She has returned. Is your estate taken away? Well, and is not that likewise returned?" When Robert hears these words, he realizes that his dignity does not depend on the opinions of people at a dinner table. His past mistake was a loan of experience that he has already returned to the universe. By refusing to get angry, Robert demonstrates that he is no longer the man he was 20 years ago. He stays in his chair. He maintains his composure. He realizes that the unkind words of another person are a reflection of their character, not his. This is how we find power in the midst of betrayal. We stop asking why this is happening to us, and we start asking how we can respond with excellence. You can apply this principle whenever you are struggling with a deep sense of being let down. Perhaps you are caring for a spouse who no longer remembers your name. Or perhaps you are feeling the silence of a house that used to be full of laughter. In these moments, remind yourself that these people were gifts you were allowed to hold for a while. If you are struggling with overthinking or a feeling of being betrayed by a partner, remember that their choices belong to them. You are only responsible for the integrity of your own soul. You do not have to carry the weight of their mistakes. Whatever your faith, you can find a bridge here to the idea of being a good steward of the time and the people you have been given to help you stay grounded when these painful moments arise. I want to teach you a practice called the 3-second breath. This is step number 1 for managing emotional pain. The next time a sharp word is said or a painful memory surfaces, do not move. Do not speak. Instead, follow these 3 steps. Second number 1. Inhale deeply and name the feeling. Say to yourself, "This is sadness," or "This is the sting of betrayal. By naming it, you move from being inside the emotion to observing it from the outside. You are no longer the sadness, you are the person noticing the sadness. Number 2. Exhale slowly and release the label. As the air leaves your lungs, say to yourself, "It is just a memory," or "These are just words. They cannot touch the fortress of my mind." Imagine the label of failure or victim drifting away with your breath. Number 3. Choose your posture. Before you say a word, physically adjust yourself. Pull your shoulders back. Soften your eyes. Relax your hands. This physical shift signals to your brain that you are safe and in control. Only after these 3 seconds should you choose to speak or to simply remain silent. If you do this consistently, you will find that the people who used to upset you no longer have that power. You will find that your past no longer feels like a prison. You are learning to return what was borrowed with a grateful and steady heart. You are becoming a person who is anchored in the present moment, where true life happens. If this message brings a sense of calm to your heart today, please type in the comments, "I am at peace with my past." I am at peace with my past. Saying these words out loud or typing them helps to settle the spirit. It is a promise to yourself that you will no longer let old wounds dictate your new days. Remember, you are not alone in this journey. We are all learning to build our fortresses together, one breath at a time. Stay steady and stay kind to yourself. The third area where we must seek the strength of our inner fortress is in the profound and often silent world of caregiving. Many of you in our community are currently walking a very difficult path. You are caring for an aging spouse, a sick parent, or perhaps a loved one whose mind is no longer what it once was. This is a journey that requires a quiet, Herculean strength that the world rarely sees or applauds. It is an act of total devotion, but it is also an act that can leave a person feeling deeply invisible. You spend your days managing medications, cleaning the house, and attending to needs that never seem to end. It is a work of constant giving, yet it often feels like you are losing your own life in the process. The Stoics had a specific and beautiful way to look at this kind of service. They believed that our duty to others is one of the highest expressions of our human nature. They taught that true dignity does not come from being served by others, but from how we serve them. To a Stoic, being a caregiver is not a burden that prevents you from living a good life. It is the very place where your good life is being built. In our modern world, this is a very hard principle to hold on to. We live in a society that values independence, productivity, and personal leisure above almost everything else. We are told that we should be the center of our own universe, and that we deserve to have our needs met first. When your life is suddenly consumed by the needs of a sick loved one, the world often tells you that you are losing out. You might feel a sense of resentment as you watch others travel or enjoy their retirement while you are confined to the 4 walls of a sick room. There is a transactional mindset in our culture today. We feel that if we give so much of ourselves, we should at least receive gratitude or recognition in return. But when the person you are caring for is confused, angry, or unable to remember your name, that gratitude never comes. This lack of feedback can lead to a deep sense of burnout and a feeling that your soul is being emptied. It is easy to feel that you are just a servant, rather than a person of great value. Let us look at a modern situation that illustrates this quiet struggle. This is a fictional example, but it reflects the reality many of you face every day. Imagine a woman named Eleanor. She is 68 years old. For the past 3 years, she has been the primary caregiver for her husband, Henry, who is struggling with memory loss. Eleanor's days are a cycle of repetitive tasks. She helps him dress. She prepares his meals. And she answers the same questions dozens of times every hour. Her back often aches from the physical labor, and her heart aches from the emotional weight. One evening, after a particularly long day, Henry becomes frustrated and speaks to her with a sharpness that feels like a physical blow. He does not see the sacrifices she has made. He does not understand that she has given up her hobbies and her social life to keep him safe. In that moment, Eleanor feels a wave of exhaustion and bitterness. She feels like she is drowning in a sea of thankless chores. She looks at her tired hands and wonders where her own life has gone. This is exactly where the wisdom of Seneca offers us a lifeline. Seneca was a man who lived in the high-stakes world of the Roman court. But he also struggled with chronic illness and the complexities of human relationships. He understood that our spirit is tested most in the moments when we are most tired. Seneca wrote a very simple but powerful truth in one of his letters. He said, "Wherever there is a human being, there is an opportunity for kindness." He did not say, "Wherever there is a grateful person," or "wherever there is a person who treats you well." He said, "Wherever there is a human being." This means that the value of your service does not depend on Henry's response. It does not depend on whether he remembers your name or says, "Thank you." The opportunity for kindness is a gift given to Eleanor, not by Henry, but by the universe. When Eleanor realizes this, the chores change. They are no longer just burdens, they are acts of virtue. She is not just cleaning a floor, she is practicing the virtue of patience. She is not just feeding a sick man, she is practicing the virtue of love. Her dignity is not something Henry gives her. It is something she creates through the quality of her own actions. You can apply this principle whenever you feel overwhelmed by the demands of others, or when you feel that your work is going unnoticed. This is especially helpful if you are dealing with a difficult personality in your family, or if you are feeling a sense of regret about the current chapter of your life. Whatever your faith, there is a deep and holy resonance in the idea that service is a sacred act. When you care for someone who cannot care for themselves, you are participating in the highest form of human connection. You are standing in the gap for another soul. You are proving that your character is stronger than your circumstances. You do not need the world to see your strength, for it to be real. You do not need a trophy to be a champion of the human spirit. Your fortress is built in those quiet, early morning hours when you choose to serve with a gentle heart, to help you find this sense of dignity during the most exhausting parts of your day. I want you to practice a technique I call the service ritual. This is step number 1 for reclaiming your power as a caregiver. For every difficult or repetitive task you must perform today, I want you to choose a silent phrase to repeat to yourself. When you are lifting a heavy basket of laundry, or when you are helping someone walk, or when you are preparing a meal for the 10th time, say these words quietly in your mind. I do this for my own character, not for their gratitude. I do this for my own character, not for their gratitude. Saying this phrase shifts the power back to you. It reminds you that you are not a victim of your circumstances. You are a person of agency who is choosing to act with excellence. You are doing this work because it is the right thing to do. and because it is the kind of person you have chosen to be. This simple ritual helps to protect your heart from the poison of resentment. It allows you to find a sense of accomplishment in the smallest of tasks. You are no longer waiting for a thank you that may never come. You are finding your reward in the very act of giving. Take a moment to feel the strength in your own hands as you do this. You are doing work that is noble and necessary. You are providing a dignity to another person that they cannot provide for themselves. As you go about your duties today, remember that you are not alone. There are many others in this community who are standing right beside you in spirit. We understand the weight you carry, and we honor the path you are walking. You are the invisible pillars of our world. When you feel your patience wearing thin, remember the words of Seneca. Remember that every human being you encounter is an invitation to practice your best self. Your strength is not measured by how much you can do, but by the spirit in which you do it. Be gentle with yourself. Take those 3 seconds of breath whenever you need them. Your fortress is strong because you have built it with kindness. If this message helps you feel seen and supported today, please type in the comments, "My strength is in my kindness. My strength is in my kindness." This affirmation is a reminder that your soft heart is actually your greatest power. It is what allows you to keep going when others would give up. It is what makes your life a legacy of grace. Thank you for the light you bring into the world through your service. Stay steady and stay grounded. The final structure of our journey together is a practical 7-day plan to anchor your mind. The Stoics believed that philosophy was not something you simply read about in a book. They believed it was a craft, like carpentry or medicine, that required daily practice. They called this ascesis, or mental training. The principle is simple. A habit is only as strong as the actions you take to support it. If you want to be a person of peace, you cannot simply wait for the world to become quiet. You must build your own quietness through small, repeated choices. Every time you choose to breathe instead of shouting, you are adding a brick to your fortress. This plan is designed to help you build that fortress one day at a time. It is a way to prove to yourself that you are the master of your own internal state, regardless of what the week may bring. In our modern world, this kind of consistent practice is very difficult to maintain. We live in an era of constant interruptions and a feeling of being rushed. We start a new routine on Monday with great energy, but by Wednesday, the pressures of life begin to crowd in. Perhaps the car needs a repair, or a family member calls with a crisis, or you simply feel tired. Our culture encourages us to seek instant results and to give up if we do not feel a total transformation within 24 hours. We are distracted by the endless stream of information on our screens, which makes it hard to sit with a single thought for more than a few minutes. This is especially challenging as we get older and our routines become deeply set. Breaking old patterns of overthinking or reacting takes a deliberate effort that the world around us does not always support. Let us look at a modern situation that many of you may recognize. Imagine a man named Thomas. He is 62 years old and has recently retired. He wants this chapter of his life to be peaceful, but he finds himself getting irritated by small things. The neighbor's dog barks too much. The supermarket line is too long. His computer is acting slowly. Thomas watches a video about Stoicism and feels inspired on Monday morning, but by Thursday, after a frustrating phone call about his insurance, he finds himself pacing the floor and feeling that same old anger rising. He feels like a failure because he could not stay calm. Thomas is struggling because he is trying to reach the finish line without walking the path. He forgets that peace is not a destination, but a way of traveling. This is where the wisdom of Epictetus provides us with the necessary perspective. Epictetus, who lived through great hardship, understood that our habits define us. He wrote very clearly on this subject. He said, "Every habit and faculty is confirmed and strengthened by its corresponding actions. If you wish to be a reader, read. If you wish to be a writer, write. If you would not be of an angry temper, then do not feed the habit. Give it nothing to help its increase." Epictetus believed that we feed our anger or our peace every single day by the choices we make. When Thomas gets angry at the slow computer, he is feeding his anger. When he chooses to wait and breathe, he is starving the anger and feeding his peace. The 7-day plan is a way to stop feeding the habits that make us miserable. You can apply this plan whenever you feel that your life is becoming chaotic, or when you are struggling with a sense of being overwhelmed by your responsibilities. It is particularly helpful if you are dealing with a long-term conflict in your family, or if you are feeling a sense of loneliness. Whatever your faith, you can see this as a way of being a better steward of the life you have been given. It is a way to reclaim your dignity in the small moments that no one else sees. This plan is your training ground. I encourage you to write these steps down or listen to this section several times. Here is your 7-day Stay Grounded plan. Day number 1. The 5-minute digital delay. For the entire day. Whenever you receive a text message, an email, or a notification on your phone, you must wait 5 full minutes before you look at it or reply. Use this time to remember that your peace is more important than the speed of your response. Notice the urge to react and let it pass. Day number 2. The sound of triggers. Identify 3 words or phrases that usually make you angry or defensive. Perhaps it is a specific criticism from a spouse or a certain political topic. For this day, decide that these are just sounds. They are vibrations in the air, like a bird chirping or a car passing by. They have no power to enter your mind unless you open the door. Day number 3. The mundane meditation. Choose one household chore, such as washing the dishes or folding the laundry. Do this task with total focus. Do not listen to the radio or have the television on. Pay attention to the temperature of the water or the texture of the fabric. Do the task with excellence and without a single complaint in your mind. Day number 4. The view from above. 3 times today. Take 2 minutes to sit quietly. Imagine you are looking at yourself from high above in the sky. See your house, then your city, then the entire planet, and finally the vast cosmos. Look back down at your current problem and notice how small it truly is in the grand scheme of time and space. Day number 5. Reaching out without expectation. Think of one person you have felt distant from. Send them a short, kind message, or give them a brief call just to say you are thinking of them. Do this with zero expectation of a reply or a thank you. You are practicing being a good friend for your own character, not for their response. Day number 6. 15 minutes of total silence. Find a quiet chair and sit for 15 minutes with no input. No phone, no book, no music, just you and your thoughts. If your mind begins to race, simply observe the thoughts as if they are clouds passing by. This is the practice of being comfortable in your own company. Day number 7. The Legacy Review. Before you go to bed, ask yourself a serious question. If this were my last day, would I want to be remembered for the things? Was I angry about something today, or would I want to be remembered for the peace I maintained? Use this question to edit your priorities for the coming week. This plan is not about perfection. It is about direction. If you miss a day, simply start the next morning again. The Stoics were not interested in guilt. They were interested in progress. Every small effort you make is a victory for your character. You are learning to live with intention rather than by accident. You are building a life that is steady, grounded, and full of dignity. Take these steps slowly and with a kind heart toward yourself. You are doing a work of great value. If you are committed to trying this plan starting tomorrow, please type in the comments, "My peace is my power." My peace is my power. Typing this is your first act of intention. It is a sign that you are ready to take back the lead in your own life. We are all on this path together, and I am honored to walk it with you. Stay steady, stay grounded, and stay sharp. The final part of our practice involves the two most important moments of your day. These are the morning intention and the evening reckoning. The Stoics believed that a well-lived life is built by bookending your day with awareness. Think of these two moments as the anchors for your soul. The morning intention is like setting your compass before you begin a long journey through a forest. It allows you to decide in advance how you will behave, no matter what the weather or the terrain might be. The evening reckoning is like a quiet conversation with a wise friend at the end of that journey. It is a time to look back at your steps with honesty and kindness. The principle here is that we should not leave our character to chance. We do not want to simply react to whatever the day throws at our feet. Instead, we want to start each day with a clear purpose and end each day with a clear conscience. This routine helps you stay in the lead of your own life, rather than being dragged behind it. In our modern world, these two moments are often the most neglected. Most people begin their day by reaching for their phones. They wake up and immediately allow the news, the social media arguments, and the demands of others to flood into their minds. They start their morning in a state of reaction, feeling behind before they have even left their bed. At the end of the day, they fall into bed exhausted, perhaps with the television still running or their mind racing with worries about tomorrow. There is no space for reflection. This constant noise makes it hard to feel any sense of control or dignity. It feels as though we are living the same day over and over again, making the same mistakes and carrying the same stress. For many of us, especially as we navigate the changes of retirement or the challenges of aging, this lack of structure can lead to a feeling of being lost or invisible. Let us look at a modern situation that illustrates the power of these two anchors. This is a fictional example, but it may feel very familiar. Imagine a woman named Sarah. She is 67 years old and lives alone. Her mornings often feel heavy with a sense of quiet. Her old habit is to turn on the news immediately to fill the silence. By 8 in the morning, she is already worried about the economy and frustrated by a politician she does not like. Her energy for the day is already drained. Now, imagine if Sarah chose a different path. Instead of the news, she sits on the edge of her bed and speaks a few quiet words to herself. She prepares her mind for the people she might meet at the grocery store or the difficult phone call she needs to make to her insurance company. At the end of the day, instead of worrying, She sits with a cup of tea and looks back at her day. She notices the moment she was patient with a slow clerk. She noticed the moment she felt lonely, but chose to go for a walk anyway. This routine changes her entire experience of her life. She is no longer just a spectator. She is the author of her own piece. This is the exact practice that the great Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius followed. Even as he ruled a vast empire, he took the time to write to himself every single morning. He knew that the world would be difficult, so he prepared his mind for it. Marcus wrote these famous words in his journal: "Begin the morning by saying to thyself, I shall meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, unsocial. All these things happen to them by reason of their ignorance of what is good and evil. But I, who have seen the nature of the good, that it is beautiful, and of the bad, that it is ugly, and of the nature of him who does wrong, that it is akin to me, I can neither be injured by any of them, for no one can fix on me what is ugly, nor can I be angry with my kinsman, nor hate him." When Marcus wrote these words, he was not being a pessimist. He was being a realist. He was reminding himself that the behavior of others is outside of his control. He was deciding in advance that their rudeness or their deceit would not be allowed to enter his inner fortress. He realized that people act poorly because they do not know any better. This realization allowed him to feel pity rather than anger. It allowed him to stay focused on his own beauty and his own goodness. This is the same strength you can find when you prepare your mind for a difficult family gathering or a day of caregiving. You are deciding that your light will not be dimmed by the shadows of others. Whatever your faith or your personal beliefs, you can find a deep resonance in this daily audit. It is a way of honoring the life you have been given. It is a way of practicing forgiveness for yourself and others. If you are struggling with a sense of regret about your past, the evening reckoning is a way to process those feelings and leave them in the day that has finished. It prevents today's mistakes from poisoning tomorrow's opportunities. To help you build this routine, I want to give you 2 specific rituals. You can start these tonight and tomorrow morning. Step number 1 is the morning intention. This takes only 2 minutes. Before you touch your phone, before you turn on the radio, and before you leave your bed, sit on the edge of the mattress. Put your feet firmly on the floor. Take a deep breath and say these words to yourself. Today I will meet people who are difficult, ungrateful, and selfish. They are this way because they cannot tell good from evil. But I have seen the beauty of good, and I cannot be harmed. I will stay grounded in my own character. Repeat this one more time. I will stay grounded in my own character. This is your anchor. It sets your direction for the day. Step number 2 is the evening reckoning. This takes about 5 minutes before you go to sleep. Sit quietly and review your day as if you are watching a movie. Ask yourself these 3 simple questions in this exact order. First, what did I do well today? Think of a moment where you were kind, patient, or disciplined. It can be something as small as making a healthy meal or speaking a gentle word. Allow yourself to feel a sense of quiet satisfaction. Second, where did I let my fortress fall? Think of a moment where you lost your temper, overthought a situation, or allowed someone else to upset you. Do not judge yourself harshly. Simply notice the moment and understand what triggered it. Third, what is one small thing I will do better tomorrow? Choose one specific action. Perhaps you will wait 5 minutes before replying to a text, or you will take 3 breaths before answering a difficult question. This is your forward-looking commitment. It allows you to close the day with hope and intention. By practicing these 2 moments, you are no longer just surviving your life. You are leading it. You are becoming the person you were meant to be. This routine provides a sense of control and dignity that the world cannot take away. It is a way of being a good companion to yourself. Over time, you will find that the mornings feel less heavy and the evenings feel more peaceful. You are building a legacy of a steady and grounded mind. If you are ready to start this routine tonight, please type in the comments, "I start with intention and end with peace." I start with intention and end with peace. Typing this is your commitment to yourself and to this community. It shows that you are taking ownership of your morning and your night. Remember, you do not have to be perfect. You just have to be present. We are all learning to build our fortresses together. Stay steady, stay grounded, and stay kind to yourself. You are doing a work of great value, and your journey is respected here. As we bring this reflection to a close, let us think back to that moment in the kitchen with the unwashed dishes, or that quiet dinner table where an unkind word was spoken. Those moments do not have to be the end of your peace. Like Martha or Robert, in our stories today, you always have a choice. You can step into your fortress. You can breathe. You can decide for yourself how the story ends. The main lesson today is simple and full of hope. Peace is not the absence of noise. It is the stillness you carry inside the noise. It is a strength that no one can take from you unless you give it away. You are the only one who holds the key to your inner citadel. To make this wisdom real in your life, I encourage you to follow the 7-day plan we discussed. Start tomorrow morning with your intention while sitting on the edge of your bed. End your night with a quiet reckoning of your actions. These are the small, daily bricks that build a life of lasting dignity. You are doing better than you think. Wisdom is a journey, not a destination. It is a path we walk one step at a time, and every step counts. Thank you for walking this part of the path with me. Before you go, I invite you to make a small, honest commitment to yourself in the comments below. Please type one small thing you will do differently starting tonight. Perhaps it is waiting 5 minutes before replying to a message, or simply taking 3 breaths before you speak. Type it out to anchor your intention. If this message brought you a moment of calm, please join our community and share this with one person you know who might be struggling today. It is through these small acts of connection that we grow stronger together. These ideas are shared for reflection and personal growth, and they are not a substitute for professional mental health support. If you are going through something heavy, please reach out to someone you trust or a qualified professional. Whatever your faith or walk of life, may you find the strength you seek. We respect your journey and your beliefs, and we offer these Stoic tools as a humble companion to your own inner light. I will leave you with this final thought. Your character is your only true possession. It is the only thing the world cannot take from you. Guard it well, and treat it with the respect it deserves. Please type in the comments, "I am the guardian of my peace." I am the guardian of my peace. Until next time, stay grounded, stay steady, and stay sharp. Take care of yourself.